Okay, so we're going to do a quick video on proxy access. So if we go into the tenant and just search for create proxy access policy, and we'll get the task up to start a new session. And we're just going to go and choose for implementation in sandbox only, just so that it's limited down. And then there's two areas that we can choose from. So we're going to choose the group that can proxy first. So we'll choose implementers and maybe just the HR admin as well, just so that other users can do it in GMS. And then who they can proxy on behalf of. So in this case, we'll just say that those two can proxy on behalf of all of the users in the tenant. And it's important just to remember that Workday works in this way, because sometimes you can get confused. So the right-hand side is who you can proxy on behalf of, and the left-hand side is which role you need to be able to do that proxy. So if we hit OK, and then just go and have a quick look to start proxy, the task should come up. And when we search, when this comes up, we'll just be able to search for Logan quickly, and all will be good. So you can see there are a few results. So yeah, it looks like we've got most users, can proxy in, and we become Logan. So rather than my Impl account as WD implementer, we'll just go in as Logan and see that that's working. So that's cool. So let's jump out from that. So to jump out, we can just type in stop proxy. And as we type that in, just click on stop proxy and click OK, and that will revert us back to being then the implementer. So pretty simple, but we want to spice it up a little bit. So if we just go back to the proxy access policy, we can just edit that. Instead, there's some limitations that you can get when you do this. So over here on the right-hand side, the types of security group that you can see are unconstrained security groups. So if I type in HR admin, then that should come up. And what that'll do, if I take out the all users, then just means that only HR admin can proxy in as a HR admin. So what it should do is it should lock down our options. So if I quickly go to Joy and then Actions, there's another way that you can start proxy, which is just in the security profile here. And you can see that I don't have an option for start proxy that's showing up if I can manage to hover on the right place. So that all then looks pretty blank. And if I go for Logan, so Logan is the HR administrator, and do the same. So back down to security profile, and then you can see there I've got the start proxy option. So it's another way to do it, but it just shows you if your config's working or if it's not. And if I just give you the same example by doing it the way we did the first time, so if I type in Logan, then that pops up. And if I type in Joy, I'll get no results. So because I've limited this now to only the HR administrator, that's all we get. So cool. So we can just go back and go to the edit proxy again. What we're going to do is, again, just change this around, and then maybe just work on the scenario where there's going to be a couple of options. So let's put it back to what it was. So we pop in all users, and let's add an extra row. What we can do in the extra row is just see how kind of cascaded versions of this work. So if I move the HR administrator up a level, and then choose all users. And what this will mean is that the HR administrator takes priority over implementer. So because the people that you're searching for hit that right-hand group, it means that when I go to start proxy now, I won't actually be able to find Logan. So Logan's an all user. And because the HR administrator can proxy as all users, that comes before the implementer, means that I then can't make any changes. So it's kind of locked my proxy access. But if I hard logged in as Logan, then I'd be okay. Or if I direct logged in as Logan, I'd be okay. So let's go back and just make the change. So yeah, just to kind of show through, if I put implementers at the top, and I'd then be able to proxy. So let's just have a look at an example where, let's say that we want to log in as only people in Germany. So if I go to create security group, then what we can do is create a security group of the German population. And we can say that if I'm the HR user for Germany, then I can only log in as people in Germany, which is kind of cool for global implementations. So again, in the create security group task, if we go down and just look for organizational membership security groups or location membership security groups, both give similar outcomes. It's just different types of items or different types of security group that can kind of do the same thing. But I'll choose the location item because we've got it set up as location in this tenant. So I'm just going to prefix it as well so that it looks good. And then I'll go and choose a location like Germany and Berlin in this case. So we'll just go and pick that up. And this will then fit into the right-hand side. So that's looking then at all workers in Germany. And then we'll come back here. And on the left-hand side, generally you want to use user-based groups here. So what we can do is just create a quick user-based security group. So if we scroll down, user-based, and then we can just say the German proxy access. So now you've got a user-based group which will give to the people that should be able to have the access, and then a population that they'll be able to have the access for. So I'm just going to pop it in as secadmin so that they'll administer, but you can change this around. So yeah, you can see the German proxy access, and then on the right we've got that location-based security group. So what this is now saying is that if you're in the German proxy access, you'll have population, but if you're not, you'll have access to all users. What you'll also notice is that I've just left in the HR administrator and implementer, because if I didn't, then they wouldn't have access to this. And what I can also do is just say that nobody can process as anybody who has the administrator group. So it just saves you from getting heavy amounts of access to people proxying. So let's hit OK. And let's go and test this out. So we'll need to just quickly assign the user-based group to a person first. So I assign this to Joy Banks. And then what it will do is say that Joy can proxy in as anyone in Germany. And you can see that she doesn't have extra access that we're using in that proxy group. If I go back to start proxy, first of all, let's go and have a look for some example workers in Germany. So if I go down here and just see for some people that are in Berlin, so we've got Gerhard there, that's in Berlin. So that should be somebody that we should be able to proxy in when we assign this. So at the moment you can see that I have access. And if I go to Fritz, then I have access to Fritz as well. Again, I've got the implementer access, so that's what we'd expect to see. Now, if I sign out, and then I directly log back in as Joy. So if you remember, we gave Joy that German-only proxy access. So that German was set up for Berlin. And this should mean that Joy will only be able to see proxy access for Gerhard and not for Fritz. So let's go and have a look at the EU-Germany location hierarchy. And then as we scroll down, we can see those two workers again. So if I related action from Gerhard, then go to security profile, yeah, you can see here, start proxy, it looks good. But if I go to Johannes, who's in Munich as well, I don't have it for Johannes. So you can see that that's working. It's good for Joy because it means it restricted Joy to only have access to a certain population. And keeps everything nice and secure in the tenant.